Alright, welcome Snetterton 300 setup guide, track guide. Pretty crashy track in my experience, fun track to drive. The curbs aren't too wide, they're not too long, and then you get onto grass and gravel, so it's pretty tricky. Yeah, it's pretty demanding that you stay on track. Pretty crashy, yeah. So watch out for that. Cars in front of you crashing, all sorts of chaos like that. iRacing setup guide, not my favorite. Made some changes. Um, Ride height, damper compression, brake bias, toe in. Big change is the iRacing guide had a tall stack for the gear shift or for the gear ratio or gear stack. I went with standard. I like that a lot better for this track. 15 liters of fuel, that should get you to the end. 14 is a maybe. 5 liters should get you through quali. 4 liters is a maybe. I haven't tested it out in a real race, so not 100% sure of that. So if you like the setup, if you like the track guide, hit that like and subscribe. We'll go through the corners in slow-mo and then run it out at full speed. So coming into turn one, track temp is 21, so it's not the coolest, it's not the warmest, so something in the middle there, so just be aware of that. Coming into turn one, fourth gear. So looking for the 2 board and the 1 board. Gonna get on the brakes in 4th gear. A good blast of brakes just to slow you down. You don't want to run wide here. This is a pretty good straight, so it's important you get on the power as early as possible. And it's kind of a double apex, so you just hit the curbs here on entry, picking up the power, car drifts back onto track, and then just getting it tightened back up, and then getting onto the curbs again. The entry to this second set, you don't want to get on this initial part here. It's a late apex. This stuff's angled and cambered. It's not the end of the world if you hit it, but it is gonna give your car a good bump and push you a little wide. And it's a late apex, so you really want to be hitting the curbs more here. I ran a little bit wide, came in a little hot, so I should be on full power right now, but ran that just a little wide. And then exiting wide onto these curbs, and again, this is one you got to watch out for. These curbs are not very wide and they're not very long. You're going to see a lot of guys crashing, well, not crashing necessarily, but spinning, and they can spin over to this right hand side. If someone in front of you is going too wide, just watch out. You're probably going to carry a lot more speed than they are, so hopefully you can pass them into the next corner. So looking for the 2 board and the 1 board again. In 4th gear, shifting down eventually into 1st gear, pretty heavy on the brakes, so in between the 2 of them. You can brake deeper into this corner. If you're battling someone, you're gonna run wide, so watch out for that. Sometimes wide, especially on lap 1 or 2, might be a good thing anyway. And so yeah, just bring down real heavy into 1st. This is a late apex. So you're turning in here, watch out for that sausage curb. You do not want to hit that sausage curb. That is just going to give you a whole bunch of trouble. And then you want to turn into the curbs after that sausage. Picking up the power as early as possible, unwinding the wheel. Just don't goose it too much because you can lose the back end here, especially on cold tires. Making use of the curb here on exit. There is a little bit of grass creep, but not much. So really just make sure you keep your car from going over, because that's gonna be a big trouble. So next corner here, looking for this flag board. Really, I probably should be lifting at the Palmer sign here. 3rd gear, it's a lift. Cold tires, you maybe want to just give it a little touch of brake. But I came in a little hot here, had to do a little counter steer. Again, probably just lifted a little too late. Came in a little too hot. You want to be, again, late apex. You want to be on the curbs, around here, getting on full power, which I am not doing right now, unfortunately. And pretty good bit of grasscrete out here, so you can use all of that. You can cross the line, get on the grasscrete, just don't cross over the grasscrete, and get the car back on track. So again, looking for the 2 and the 1 board, going to brake in between them, maybe a little, well, in between them. Shifting down into first gear, this is a forever corner, this is a really long one, so yeah, brake good and solid, get the car slowed, get the turn in. Again, this one's pretty easy to spin out on cold tires, so watch out for that. Another late apex. Now, depending what you're watching this on, you can see just like Donington, the grass is pulled away from the curb, so there is a lip here. If you get your tire over that lip, it's trouble. I get probably a little too close to it. You can see I get a little bump there. I didn't get over it, but I was pretty much on the edge of it. So just watch out for that. Don't cross that. I think you'll get an X anyway, and it will also unbalance your car. Run it out wide. Not much grasscrete here, so try and keep it on the curb. Otherwise, you get that X. Then looking for the Hamilton sign, gonna lift at the Hamilton sign. Again, cold tires, maybe just dab the brakes. And you're looking for these stakes in the ground. They are essentially invisible. They're not gonna hit your car. They're not gonna give you any problems. So just run them over. You won't get an X. However, if your outside tire here crosses the line, I think you will get the X. So watch out for that. And then run it out wide. I came in there, apexed a little early. I should have been using the whole track out here, getting on the power earlier. Again, lots of grasscrete out there to use, so use it. And then just before the turn-in sign here, getting on the brakes, shifting down into second gear. And then you don't want to aim for these stakes. It's another late apex, but you do want to cut this corner as much as possible. Getting on the grasscrete, if you cross the white line, I think it's an X, but if your inside tire gets on the grass, it's a slowdown, a very painful slowdown because you got the biggest straight coming up. And when there's a car in front of you, believe me, that's not so hard to get onto the grass there. So be careful there. Again, don't come in too hot. Especially on cold tires. You will understeer into the grasscrete here very easily, so watch out. This is a very tricky corner. It just keeps turning. You think it's done, but it's not. And then looking for the Williams sign, shifting up briefly into third, and then basically just lifting a bit and just giving it a little throttle, just managing the throttle. Again, another late apex. You can cut this corner a bit. You're kind of aiming for that cement, I don't know, plate, whatever that is. Cutting over it. Again, just don't cross that white line. And then picking up the throttle as early as possible, running it wide. A lot of grasscrete on this one. You can cross the white line on this one as long as you stay on the grasscrete. Just be careful. The grasscrete here has different widths to it, and if you touch the grass here, you get an X. But if you're out here on the grasscrete, you don't get an X. So it's kind of nutty, but there it is. So coming into the next one, it's a big straight. This is a very crashy corner, so watch out if they're going too wide in front of you. Just watch out. Be prepared to take avoiding action. Looking for the 2 and the 1 board. Again, gonna brake in between them. Fourth gear down into third. Yeah, closer towards the 1 board. Pretty good on the brakes. You want to get the car slowed down and turned in. You do not want to come into here out of control, otherwise you're going to lose a tremendous amount of time and maybe crash. You want to line up for these stakes. Again, you want to just run through them. At the stakes, Just rolling in now, releasing the brake, and going to shift down into second gear. And you can get just over, again, keep that tire over the white line, but you can get onto the grass, I guess this is, just to open it up a bit more. Getting on the brakes once you shift down into second again. This came out a little wide here, wanted to be a little bit tighter to the line just to open up the corner. And then releasing the brakes, picking up the throttle, again another late apex. Don't really want to get onto that sausage curb, so watch out for that. That's going to push you wide. And then using all of the curb, and there's a little bit of grasscrete here as well. So make use of that. So third gear, looking for the bomb hole sign, turning in probably at the at the black barrier part here, and then at the bomb hole, lifting a bit just to get the car turned in. You don't want to run wide here. You can see the camber of this, so it's really cambered here at the bottom, not so much at the top. You're gonna have a real tough time passing someone on the outside here because it's so easy to run wide if you're up top here, but you get into the camber of this curb, you can get through here a lot faster. And again, a late apex, so you want to be towards the end of the curb here, getting on it full power. Probably came in there just a little bit hot, should have been on the power a little earlier, and run it out wide onto the curb. Again, not much grasscrete on this one, so just make sure you keep it within bounds. So just briefly going to shift up into fourth gear. It's a little quicker. Cold tires, you probably want to keep it in third gear. And then just lifting a bit, just managing the throttle. You don't really want to run it out wide here again because you can kind of see the camber now is going away from the curb, so being on the outside here is not going to be so fast. Keeping it tight against this thin curb and then shifting down into third at the end of the thin curb. Again, just managing the throttle. It's kind of a multi-apex corner, and then once the car starts to turn in again, picking up the throttle, being on full throttle for a little bit, and then looking for the third set of stakes from the end, so right here, and then gonna shift down into second gear, and then at the second last stakes, gonna get on the brakes. In second gear, cold tires, you may want to do this in first gear. So I came out here, I came in a little tight, and I want to be more on the edge, but I messed that up a little bit, not quite on the edge. Pretty hard on the brakes, second gear, again, cold tires, first gear, late apex. You don't really want to get on that sausage curb, not the end of the world if you do, but it will push you a little wide. Again, watch for people going too wide in here because someone's going to end up in that gravel and rejoin. And using the grasscrete, there's a big chunk of grasscrete here, so make use of it. Just get yourself back on track. So that's a 157.7, so I think that's decent pace, cooler track, and obviously I left some time on the table there, so low 157s definitely is going to get you really competitive. Keep the car on track, avoid those slowdowns, avoid the crashes in front of you. You should have a good finish, so we'll see you out there. We'll see you next time. Good luck.